It's time to share our stories, unleash our brilliance, and inspire the world. Sis, it's time to step out the box. Step out of the box, baby. No more limits. Yeah. Step out of the box, lady. No more limits. Yeah. When the Lord says move, it's time to step into your power. Know He's made a way for you and only you. Yeah. Hello, hello. I am so glad that you joined us for another episode of Inspired Moments. And yes, you heard it earlier. We have the amazing Tiffany Watson with us. I know. You all have heard all about her. She is that celebrity tax person that you know about in the Florida area. And we have her here right now in the studio. Tiffany, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
I'm so glad you're here. Listen, I want you to share with the people, tell them who you are.
Well, who am I? I am Tiffany Watson. I am a tax accountant here in the Tampa, Florida area. I have a firm that I own and operate, All Aboard Financial, and I help small business owners making sure that they stay on the right financial track and meet their financial goals and expectations. Outside of that, I'm a mom of three young kings. One is graduating soon. I can't even believe I am saying that at my very, very young, tender age. But three kings, one 17, 10, and 8 years old. I'm a proud autism mom. And I have a fur baby as well. I can't forget to add Giselle in there as she is my baby girl. But outside of that, that's me in a nutshell.
I love it. Fur baby and all. Listen, I
Yes.
understand the graduating senior piece because I've got twins, the last two that are actually graduating this year too. So I feel you on that. All of a sudden, we are here.
Yes.
I
Yes.
totally feel you on that. But yes, so you are definitely an inspired woman. And I am so excited that you joined us on this project, Blessed. So I will tell you that, we have some dynamic ladies that are a part of our book. But I do know that your story was definitely something that women who are going through what you went through, and I'm going to let you talk about it. You've given them some meat, some pointers, some things that they can hold on to carry them through that wave, that ebb and flow of life when it's going, you're going through it. So tell me, what is it that inspired you to write the story that you did? And you can give us the title too.
So what really inspired me, the title of my chapter is The Divorce Chronicles. It actually started as a Facebook, a way to just be my open diary.
Yeah.
I had nobody to really talk to. Of course, I had my friends and family and things, but they get tired of you crying. They get tired of you calling them crying and falling out and carrying on about your
Yeah.
situation.
Yeah.
And so I started writing the Divorce Chronicles on Facebook as just my outlet. And
Yeah.
man, it took the internet by storm. A lot of my friends and things that follow me started reaching out and saying, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
I'm so honored to know that I'm not the only one going through this. I really resonate with your story, things like that. So, my chapter, I basically wrote about the 5 stages of grief. Um, I during that time when right after my ex-husband left, I really grieved really hard. And so it became one of those things where I wasn't really sure how to get through it. Up
Mhm.
until that time, I haven't really had too much experience with grief. The last person that I lost, as far as a death that was close to me was my grandfather, and that was over 20 years ago. So I had no experience with with grief in a sense. It had been so long, and I really didn't know what was going on. But then I was like, okay, I gotta, find a way to work through this. And that's really what inspired the chapter, is really just my way of helping women understand what the 5 stages look like, and to give yourself grace in that moment. Because I think for
Mm,
me, it became one of those things like, oh my gosh, people are going to judge me for the way in which I might be responding. And even though it might not be a positive way that I'm responding, this is a part of the process. And so I wanted my chapter to be that. It wasn't one of those chapters that really kind of was a story. It was more of a self-help, because so many women reached out to me on Facebook. They DM'd me, hey, you know what, I'm going through something similar. And I found myself consulting with these women, and turns out, a lot of them really just didn't understand that they were grieving, and that they were in a
yeah.
certain space within that process. And this is what it looks like.
So you know what? Thank you for that answer. That was powerful. And you and I have talked at length about some of this stuff, and knowing that when you're going through that journey and you're in that valley, you are in there thinking you're alone. You feel alone because it's something that you're not familiar with. It's something
Mhm.
that literally it takes the breath, the wind out of you. You're just not yourself. But yet, you being the loving mother that you are, you still got to take care of your children. You still got to keep food on the table. And I know a lot of women that go through divorce or maybe separation, what have you, and they're feeling really lost. Like, oh my God, I still got to keep going. I don't want to. I really just want to curl up and just lay here. What would you say to that woman? What would you say to that woman that just, she's in the beginning throes of this thing called divorce? What would you say to her?
You,
She's just laying there not knowing what to do.
you know what? I've certainly been there. And as you said, we have talked about this in great depth. I will share that one of the things that I did when my ex-husband decided he was going to go. It didn't matter what I said, how much I pleaded with him. Nothing was going to change the outcome, that he was ready to go. I remember those first few days where I literally laid on the floor,
Mm,
literally laid on my bedroom floor, and I just asked God, why am I going through this? Why am I in this season? Why take away the only thing that I truly ever desire from my heart? That thing really broke me. And I just laid there. But then it was something actually that my oldest son said to me that gave me the push that I needed, to get up and just say, you know what, regardless of what is happening right now in this season in my emotions, my life is still happening. And he walked in the room one day and he said, Mom, no matter what, you got to get up. You got to get up. Me and my brothers still need you. So when he said that to me, that's when that mom guilt set in. That, oh my God, I'm so worried and consumed with with the man walking away, that I have forgotten that I'm a daughter, that I'm a mom, that I'm a sister, that I'm a cousin, that I'm a best friend, that I'm all these other things. So I would say to that woman to tap into the other parts of you, because the wife part of you is breaking, and that's okay. But guess what? The sister, the mom that you are, the best friend, those people around you, they still love you and need you to survive and to function. And so once I kind of got that little reality check from my
yeah.
son, that changed the whole trajectory of how I approached. So I spent a lot of days where I got up, I showed up for my business, I showed up for my children, I showed up for my friends and my family, and baby, I cried at night. Okay,
Yes.
I cried
Yeah.
until I cried so much until I couldn't even let out a cry, so a tear wouldn't even come.
Mm,
But I was able to get up and show up. So I gave myself permission to cry at a specific time. And so that's what I would tell that lady. It's okay to cry. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to feel that
mm.
hurt, right? But give yourself a space for that, okay? Don't let it consume who you are. Don't let it take control over your whole day, because those other hats that you wear, those people still need you.
Still goes on. Life still goes on, right? And I'm so grateful that you found, the inner strength to keep it moving, keep supporting your children, keep maintaining your household, and still showing up for everybody else. So, that's an amazing woman. And I will call you blessed in this day because you made it through. And
Mhm.
today, look at you. You are the celebrity tax lady down there in Florida. I'm so excited for you. Tell me what keeps you going? What keeps you going even now?
You know what? It really is my faith. I'm glad that you brought that up, because it was hard to pray in that season.
Yeah.
It was hard to even be sure of what I believed.
Yeah.
And it's crazy as that sounds for some people, I really struggled with, do I even believe God? Do I even believe in God? I went through such a deep place with that
Mm,
struggle. But one thing that really kind of kept me um, in check was the fact that prior to a few years back, I had battled an illness for 3 years after having my youngest son. They really didn't know what was wrong with me, but they told me that I would not live, that I was going
mm,
to surely perish that
mm,
year in 2016. And
mm.
every time I started to doubt God, every time I started to wonder,
My God.
where are you, God, in this moment? Where are you? This man has left me.
Mm,
I don't know what to do. I have nowhere to go. What am I? Where are you? And then he reminded me, generally through my dreams, that if I could raise you up from your deathbed and turn it around to where your body is completely healed, certainly
mm,
I can
mm.
heal you from this.
Yes, yes.
And that is literally the only ounce of
Mm.
something that I could hold on to, even in the moments where I'm like, God, I'm angry with you. Okay. And I would say to the women watching this, it's okay. God knows that we're going to get angry, and that we're going to have those moments of doubt and fear and frustration. But I gave him that. God, I'm angry with you. I can't, there's nothing else I can say or do that would make me
It's a
feel
real
any
emotion.
different. So I got to a point where I said, you know what, if he raised me up off of the sick bed, it's certainly he will get me through this.
Woo,
So what
yes,
keeps
yes.
me going, what keeps me going is just that. It really is just that, having experienced a supernatural healing over my body in 2016, to the point that my doctors were even really shocked. They still call me a walking miracle. But just having experienced that situation, and knowing that, you know what, God was right there with me,
Hmm.
that helped me in this situation, just to understand that, you know what, God hears me. Well, I may not feel it at this moment because I'm on the floor, face down, prostrate on the
Right,
ground.
right.
God, why? I may not feel it right now in this moment. I may not even understand why this has to be. But I know one thing is that he's going to show up for me in due time. So that is what keeps me going. That's what keeps me getting up every day, just number one, excited to even have a life to live, because that was almost taken away. So just the
Mm.
sheer excitement and joy in that I get to see my boys, that I get to experience life with them. That I wake up every morning because Giselle is barking, letting me know it's time to go out. Just even those little moments, when I start to think about life, and how sometimes we take it for granted.
Yeah,
Laying in that bed, in that hospital bed in 2016, when the doctors really gave up on me, really sent me to a very dark place. And so now I get to live life, and live it abundantly, based on, I don't even try to make plans. I just say, okay, God,
yeah.
here's what I got for today, but whatever you have, let it be. My name is Tiffany Watson, and my business and brand is All Aboard Financial, where I am the principal accountant, CEO, and founder. I would like my brand and business to be known for accuracy and integrity. Working with an accountant takes a lot of trust, and I want to ensure that my clients trust me. Something that I do in my field that stands out from most is educate my clients on things from tax matters, helping them better understand what it is that goes into their tax return. My name is Tiffany Watson with All Aboard Financial. Come and let us help you sell into financial freedom.
Amen. That was beautiful. You've encouraged so many people right there. You've encouraged me. Ah, so your faith has been strengthened, obviously, and I'm so glad that you are standing boldly in that place now, and you are literally flourishing. You know what the enemy meant for evil. Ha! God has turned it around, and I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful that you're here. Tell me, when is it that you decided that you wanted to share this story?
That was a struggle for me in the beginning. And we had talked about this a couple of times, and I was like, I don't know if I want to share or if I want to have this conversation. Really, I had no intention on sharing it at all, actually. I was just gonna, write the Divorce Chronicles and leave them on Facebook and call it a day. I really had no plans for them. But then I got a call from a good friend of mine. We were chatting, one day, and I told her, I said, "Hey, there's this opportunity to share this story." And she said, "So when are you gonna do it?" And I was like, "Oh, I hadn't thought about it." Uh, but basically, it was her encouraging words in that moment, and she said, "Tiffany, you just don't even know how
Mm,
much your life has been a blessing to me
mm,
and to several others. So how dare you go through something in life such as this and overcome and not share?" It
mm,
was almost like a how dare you?
mm.
How
Yeah,
dare you
yeah.
take what God has been blessed you with?
Come
How dare
on.
you not
Yes,
share that? And I was like,
that's it.
how dare I
Yes.
not share it? Like at that point, I'm like, well, I guess I'm gonna share it
Yeah,
then,
yeah,
because she made it so evidently clear that
yeah.
your testimony is greater than you. It is bigger than you. And I remember going home that night, and I was like, God, I don't want to be known as the divorced accountant. I don't want to
Mm,
be known as that. I don't want
mm,
people to look at me and see this scar, right? I don't want them to see this. I don't want them to know that that's a part of my journey. Um and I really had to work with that, because I'm like, okay, I know that people go through this every day, right? But how many people were able to bounce back as quickly, and how many people
yeah.
were able to still get up and show up? And so then I started getting more DMs of people reaching out, and I said, all right, God, I hear you now. I'm gonna go on out there and share story as you have told me to do. But I kind of just made a decision based off of just my conversation with God. I'm one of those people that I tell people all the time, prayer is just a conversation with God, and I conversate with God. Okay. When I come to him, he already know
Mhm,
how this conversation is gonna go.
mhm,
And so what I have learned is, you know I'm gonna take what I have to God. I'm gonna give him all of what Tiffany has, right? And then I'm gonna ask him, out of what I have given you, is any of this in your plan? And
mm,
so when it is in his plan, it will continue to come up. Women still DM me to this day. I still, get to talk to women, and that was the confirmation for me that if this is something that God brought to me, because number one, it came natural, and number two, the people that I know that I have impacted, even in a small scale. So that is kind of like, you know what? How dare I?
I am applauding you because I know it wasn't an easy decision to actually write anything about that part of your story. And I'm applauding you because you actually overcame fear. You overcame, the thought of being talked about, showing up in your own authentic person. You came forward and you shared the story. And so now look at how you are impacting lives. I love it. I love it. It's there's testimony in our voice, in our words. And the more that we share, the more that we are transparent, the more that we are authentic, we can help so many more people. My company, Hers by Wayne and Hers on Purpose, it really has everything to do with that. It's about giving women the opportunity to ditch the fear, ditch that imposter syndrome, that we all have been through, and maybe still going through, but just ditch all of that and actually show up boldly in who we are with the intent of actually helping another woman. And so sharing these stories is vital. It is vital. And I'm so proud to call you co-author. Not just co-author now. You're a best-selling co-author, okay?
That's
And I'm
right.
so proud of you. I'm so proud of you. So tell me, like when you think about that now that you are an author, and I know there's more that you're wanting to do with the whole thing. Tell me, what can we look for in the future from Tiffany?
Well, oh boy, this has been a conversation with me and God and my therapist for a while. um, you know, as wild as it is, this experience has been amazing. Becoming a co-author and a best-selling co-author and all of that has been absolutely amazing. There have been people reaching out like, okay, so when are we going to get the full story? When are we going to get the full details? And I'm like, oh, I thought what I gave in the chapter was enough, but but a lot of people have reached out and have said that. So I think at some point, I am going to tell the story from my perspective. I think I know when we first met, it was like, you know what, Wayner, I don't want to bash my
I
ex-husband.
remember
I
that.
don't want to
I
go through
respect it.
any of that, right?
I
And
respect
one
it.
of the things I had to learn within myself, just really just sitting with myself and saying, you know what, although my experiences were what they were, I think a lot of times, women in particular, we don't like to take accountability for our
Hmm.
role
Hmm.
in the situation.
Hmm.
And so the next project that I do is going to be about that accountability on my
Hmm.
part. What role did Tiffany play?
Oh,
And
good.
how did we get here based off of the role that I played?
Yeah.
Because I think that's a very brave, very brave approach to take to the next project. Because I do know from just conversating with other women that it's hard sometimes. Even though we like to point the finger, hey, he did this, that, and the other, which may be very well true. But
Hmm.
but guess what, sis? You did this, that, and the other
Absolutely.
as well,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
I'm going to take on that approach to my next project, talking about from my perspective all of the hopes and the dreams and the unspoken things that happen in my marriage. I think one of the most important chapters that I'm going to write in my next project is about the unspoken expectations that I
Mm.
had of my spouse that I never said. Right? So how can this man meet my expectations that I have never told him? Like he
Mhm.
cannot read my mind. So
Mhm.
um I have a very somewhat good relationship with my ex. We co-parent well together. That
Wonderful.
has been something that we've navigated. And so I'm certainly going to talk about that as well because they're, still ironing out some kinks.
Mhm.
It has been a journey, but to see where we are today versus where we started, letting
Only
other
God.
women know, yeah, letting other women know that you know what, you can get to a place. Not
Mhm.
saying that there aren't going to be times when you guys are, bickering or arguing or
Right.
what have you, but for the most part, you can overcome and be the best for your children. even if you can't be the best for each other, you guys can be the best for your children. And so that whole project, at some point I am going to write that book and push that out there. But I also am really focused on growing my firm, my accounting firm here in Tampa, looking to really grow that so that I can start hiring other people, and
Awesome.
replace myself in the business. I want to be the CEO on the beach in Cancun somewhere, and just check in by Zoom. That's my goal.
Love it. Love it.
Yeah.
Wow. You have just said so much in terms of, truth. I am so happy to hear that you are open to helping so many more women. I mean, you brought up some emotions in me. And I've been through this a long time ago now, but I remember how much energy and strength it took, and the confidence had to be rebuilt and all of that. And so I commend you, sister, for standing tall today, because you are truly blessed. You have come through the fire and you were standing tall, ready to help that next woman. And I'm so proud of you. Listen, thank you so much for being on the show today. Thank you so much for pouring your heart out, for sharing so much about what you have been through. You're impacting lives daily. And I'm so proud to actually call you absolutely a best-selling co-author. So thank you so very much. Guys, thank you for joining us today, and we will see you next time. Hers on Purpose, empowering purpose driven women to confidently publish and leverage their story.